Some eThekwini residents are paying their municipal rates into a trust account as part of a boycott over a 15% tariff increase that is continuing there. This as talks between residents and the Metro are continuing as well. For more, let's speak to the Westville Ratepayers Association chairperson, Asad Gaffar. A very good evening to you, sir. Grateful for your time. So let's take a few steps back for people who've not been following this story and talk about why it is you basically decided as ratepayers that you were going to withhold your rates, at least from the city of eThekwini.
Thank you for having me. So it's not just about the steep tariff hikes. It's about the usage of the money. It's about protecting the money. It's about ensuring that the city functions the way it needs to function. And also the fact that, over the years, the infrastructure has collapsed. So our position that we've taken is that we've had enough. And we need to take a serious position in terms of how we want to move forward. Allowing the status quo to continue the way it is not to the benefit of all the people of eThekwini, and hence this is the decision that we've taken.
And I was looking at a piece by the team at News 24 today who said that by last week, so basically 17 days into your boycott, I think just over 700,000 rand in rates had been withheld from the eThekwini Metro. That money, am I right, has now been deposited into this trust account. How then are you dealing with the situation in the interim, because you are clearly dissatisfied with the quality of services from the Metro?
Yeah, what we're dissatisfied about is, like I said, we've been calling out this municipality for, wasteful expenditure, focusing on items that's not the core function of a municipality. We still continue to see them spend money on items that's not related to service delivery. And that for us is a serious concern. But not just only for us. I'm sure you guys are aware, there has been a directive that has been sent out from National Treasury in terms of how monies are being spent. They need to cut down on unnecessary expenditure, etc., etc. We do believe that it's because of the pressure that we are putting on eThekwini, and we've been writing to National Treasury, and the fact that we've also been writing to COCTA and KZN, that they've taken this position, because we need to be serious about what we do with this money. It's not there just for the taking, it's there to run the country. And our expectations are that that's what the money needs to be used for. So, it's about time that everything gets put into perspective.
And when would you say, Asad, that services in eThekwini began to deteriorate? Some have said, in fact, that they've collapsed in some areas.
It has collapsed. It's in many areas. And when we talk about the collapse, we don't just talk about the so-called middle-class areas or the previously advantaged areas. When we talk about services collapsing, we're talking about across eThekwini. In fact, the position that we're taking is one for what we regard as the previously disadvantaged areas. We've mentioned this before, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it on this channel. There's areas outside of eThekwini that have not had piped water for the last 3 years. We are concerned, how is it in this period, 30 years since democracy, that in 2023, previously disadvantaged areas are still in a dire state. It's so sad. Children are walking through sewer. People have to cross through sewer to get into a taxi. It's unacceptable. And the fact that the city, when you question them about all of these issues, they tell us that they've inherited aged infrastructure. And we say, fine, no problem. But you've had a long time to address these issues. You've had a long time to put plans in place, but you're not doing so. And hence, this is the reason why we've taken this position. Now, yes, we did mention a few days ago it was around 750,000. I can confirm that as of today, it's still growing, and we now got about almost 1.2 or 1.3 million rand that has been diverted away from the city.
And by diverted away, am I right to say, just to confirm, it's been deposited into this trust account, which you and, I don't know, other people are overseeing?
No, it's placed into our account. So we are holding the money in terms of the Westville Ratepayers Association. We've created an umbrella body now because there's other areas that have joined us. So it's not just Westville anymore. It's now the eThekwini Ratepayers protest movement because it incorporates 9 different associations and it encompasses the whole of eThekwini.
1.2
So the
million
monies are
rand.
being held.
Right.
Sorry?
I was saying, you said you've now sitting at about 1.2 million rand. That is a lot of money. How are you ensuring that it's kept safe, as safe as possible, and that the fund is not abused, so to speak?
Look, it's a business account. We've got all necessary checks and balances in the account. We are reporting, consistently to the individuals that are in the campaign. They are comfortable with the process. They have no issues. They trust us completely, and hence they put their money. In fact, a lot of the people in the campaign are now in month 2. So they've done it the first month and now they're repeating for the second month. So we are confident, they are confident. They know that we are serious about change. This is not a scam, it's not a Ponzi scheme. This is about bringing about effective change for the betterment of the whole country, so to speak.
Right. And what ultimately, Asad, is the plan with this money? So over 1.2 million rand that has now been deposited. What are you going to do with it ultimately?
Look, we are still in discussions with the city. In fact, what we've done now is to protect those in the campaign, we actually lodged an application in the High Court because what we do know is that the city normally uses disconnection as a credit control measure, and they also use it as in terms of strong arming individuals into paying them. So we've launched an application in the High Court. It is set for the 1st of November. Today we've received a response from the city's attorneys in that they wish to challenge this matter. So we are very excited about that. So we will go to court and we will see what the courts decide. If the courts decide that our action was not just or it was incorrect, we will hand over the money gladly to the city. If we are found to be victorious, we will continue in terms of the campaign until we reach a resolution with the city. And part of the resolution is that we want oversight in terms of the administration of the city because we don't trust them anymore.
Right.
So we want to be able to have a say in terms of how the monies are collected, how the monies are being spent, and it is spent correctly. We want total oversight in terms of that, because there's a serious need to rebuild the city. Now we are seeing some changes and positive changes, may I say, in that we are seeing the city now, repairing certain areas which for a long time has been left neglected. So they are moving in the right direction. This pressure is definitely working in our favor, but there's still a long way to go before we rectify everything.
You've touched on it somewhat. The reality is many communities in this country are frustrated with the quality of services, public services they receive from their respective municipalities. You guys have now embarked on this boycott, but under law in this country, we're not simply allowed to withdraw or withhold our rate payments, right? You're going to go to court, as you were saying, in November, and if indeed the ruling goes against you, you'll then hand over the money to the Metro. But otherwise, given that there are other voices within areas around eThekwini and Westville discouraging people in their areas from joining this effort, who ultimately, because they're worried about this, who ultimately shoulders the legal liability of the outcome should it go against you, beyond just handing over the money?
Look, at the end of the day, it's about trying, and we openly challenge anyone who goes against us to tell us what are the alternatives. If you have a better solution, bring it to the table. We have no issue with that. But what I need to also point out, that the position that we've taken is not an illegal position. It's a legal position. So we are well within our rights to declare a dispute with the city, which is what we've done. And ultimately, on the 1st of November, should we go to court, we will argue why we are in dispute. We do believe that the reasons behind why we are in dispute with the city is valid. And should the court not find us in favor, we would be very surprised. But even if we lost in this matter, it's not that we're just going to pack up or we're going to close shop. We will definitely take it on appeal. And I can tell you this much, We will even go as far as the Constitutional Court if we have to, because these are constitutional violations. What we are seeing happening in eThekwini, and I can tell you it's happening across the entire country, that the process that the cities are using and the municipalities are using are unconstitutional. They are not listening to the people. I mean, initially when I started off this interview with you, I mentioned that it was not so much in regards to the tariff, but these tariffs are affecting the poor people more than it's affecting the middle class. If I take the electricity tariff as an example, a lot of the poorer communities are affected directly by this because they have prepaid meters. We've brought this to the attention of the city and the mayor. You've imposed a 15.1% electricity tariff on a tariff from the last year. So in effect, we're looking at an electricity increase of more than 25-30%, which has become totally unaffordable for the poorer community. Now, when we speak to this community, they're telling us that they can only afford electricity for 1 week or 2 weeks in the month. The rest of the time, they have to resort to alternative means of cooking, alternative means of heating, alternative means of keeping light in their homes. I'm saying, how is this acceptable? It's totally unacceptable. And these communities have been crying to the municipality. They've been talking to the municipality. And the mayor comes out in public and he says, we are a caring city. We are caring for who? If we can't care for the poor community, if we can't care for those who are above 65, 70 years of age, who are we caring for? Because what has come to the fore now since we've launched this campaign is that a lot of the senior citizens, those that are pensioners, they cannot afford these tariffs.
Asad Gaffar, good to speak to you.